I spent 18 years being dad. Paid for everything. College, car, health insurance, braces, summer camps. Then one Thursday over chicken dinner, my wife casually mentioned my stepdaughter was moving in with her biological father. You'll keep paying though, right? That's when I stood up, packed a single bag, and walked out. What happened next? Let's just say karma works in mysterious ways when you stop being someone's ATM. My name is Blake Mitchell. I'm 47 years old, and I've spent the last 18 years as a systems engineer for a mid-sized tech firm in Denver. Steady job, decent paycheck, the kind of stability that lets you sleep at night. Or at least it used to. The bomb dropped on a Thursday. Nothing special about the day, just another evening after a long shift troubleshooting server failures and dealing with password resets. I came home to the smell of roasted chicken, which should have been my second warning. Lauren only cooked real meals when she wanted something. We sat down at the dining table, the same oak table I'd assembled myself 5 years ago. Taylor was upstairs, probably scrolling through social media or texting Craig, though I didn't know that part yet. Lauren cut into her chicken with surgical precision, not making eye contact. Taylor's moving out, she said, like she was commenting on the weather. I looked up from my plate. Okay, she getting her own place near campus? No. Lauren set down her knife and finally met my eyes. She's leaving to live with her biological father. The words hung in the air between us. I felt my jaw tighten, but I kept chewing. Slowly. Mechanically. My brain was doing that thing where it lags behind reality, trying to process information that doesn't make sense. 18 years. 18 years of parent-teacher conferences, emergency room visits for sports injuries, college application essays I helped edit at midnight. 18 years of being dad to everyone except on legal documents. When I asked, my voice flat. End of the month. Craig's at a bigger place now in Phoenix. They've been talking, and she thinks it's time to reconnect with her real family. Real family. Those two words hit different. And you're okay with this? I asked. Lauren shrugged. She's an adult, Blake. It's her choice. Besides, she added, reaching for her wine glass, you'll keep helping with tuition and expenses, right? For continuity. There it was. The real agenda. I wasn't her father. I was her ATM. A subscription service they forgot to cancel. I said nothing. Just nodded once, finished my chicken, and cleared my plate. That night, I didn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling, listening to Lauren's breathing beside me, and made a decision that would change everything. Friday morning came with fog rolling through Denver like the city itself was hiding something. I woke up at 5, same as always, but instead of heading to the office, I sat at the kitchen table with my laptop and a cup of coffee that tasted like metal. Lauren was still asleep upstairs. Taylor had left early for some study group that probably didn't exist. I opened my browser and started the kind of work I was actually good at, systems administration. Except this time, I wasn't fixing servers. I was dismantling my own life, one access point at a time. First stop, the university portal. I'd set up the automatic payment system 3 years ago when Taylor started at Colorado State. My visa, ending in 3847, was listed as the primary funding source. I stared at that number for a solid minute, thinking about all the times I'd gotten fraud alerts and assumed it was identity theft, not tuition for a kid who was about to call someone else dad. I clicked Remove Payment Method. The system asked me to confirm. I confirmed. No email, notification. No, are you sure? Pop-up. Just gone. Like it had never been there. Next was the health insurance. I logged into my company's HR portal and pulled up the family plan. Taylor's name sat there under dependents. Birth date, April 15th, 2003. I remembered that day. Actually, not her birth. I wasn't around for that. But the day Lauren asked me to add her to my insurance. Taylor was 7, had just fallen off her bike and needed stitches. No insurance, no money, no options. Just temporary, Lauren had said, until I get back on my feet. 18 years later, still on my plan. I selected Remove Dependent and typed in the reason, no longer eligible. The system processed for maybe 10 seconds, then confirmed the change. Effective immediately. The 529 college fund took longer. I'd opened it when Taylor was 13, thinking maybe I should start planning ahead like a real parent. Deposited $200 a month for 9 years. The balance sat at $21,468. Not enough to change anyone's life, but enough to matter. I couldn't just withdraw it without penalties, but I could change the beneficiary. The form asked who I wanted to transfer the funds to. I sat there, cursor blinking, then typed in a name I hadn't thought about in years. My son from my first marriage, Cameron. He was 25 now, working construction in Boise, probably didn't even remember I existed after his mother moved him away when he was 8. But he was my actual kid, my blood, and if anyone deserved that money, it was him. I submitted the form. The system sent a confirmation email to my personal address, the one Lauren didn't know about. By the time the sun fully rose over the Rockies, I'd canceled the family Spotify account, removed Taylor from my Amazon Prime, and deleted her access to the shared Netflix profile. Small things. Things they wouldn't notice immediately. Things that would just stop working one day, like a subscription they forgot to renew. I closed the laptop and went upstairs to pack. I packed light. One duffel bag, the kind I used for weekend work trips when servers went down in other offices. 3 pairs of jeans, 5 shirts, toiletries, my laptop, and the external hard drive with 18 years of family photos I'd been stupid enough to organize and back up. Lauren was in the shower when I walked out. I could hear the water running, hear her humming some pop song Taylor liked. The sound made my stomach twist, but not from sadness. From anger. Pure, clean anger at how easy this all was for her. I left my wedding ring on the kitchen counter next to the coffee maker. Didn't write a note. What was there to say? She'd laid out the terms clearly enough at dinner. I was the bank, not the family. The drive to my brother's place in Colorado Springs took 90 minutes. Derek had always been the wild card in our family, the one who never settled down, never bought into the whole marriage and mortgage dream. Right now, I envied him. "You look like hell," Derek said when he opened the door. He was holding a beer, even though it was barely 9 in the morning. "I need a place to crash for a few days. Maybe a week." He stepped aside without asking questions. That was the thing about Derek. He'd been through 2 ugly breakups himself. He knew when a man needed space and silence more than advice. I set up my laptop on his kitchen table and got back to work. There were still loose ends to tie up. The grocery store loyalty card seemed petty, but I deleted it anyway. That card was linked to my phone number, gave us discounts on everything from milk to paper towels. Let them pay full price for a while. The car lease on Taylor's Subaru was trickier. I'd co-signed, which meant I couldn't just cancel it without destroying my credit. But I could stop making the payments. The lease company would repo the car after 90 days of non-payment, and the hit to my credit score would be minimal since I was just a co-signer. I set a reminder on my phone. Stop auto pay on Subaru lease. Effective immediately. Then I opened my email and found a message I'd been waiting for. Confirmation that Cameron, my son, was now the beneficiary of the 529 fund. $21,000 he didn't even know existed yet. Maybe I'd tell him someday. Maybe not. Either way, it wasn't going to Taylor. My phone buzzed. Lauren. I silenced it and set the phone face down on the table. Derek walked into the kitchen with 2 beers and slid one across to me. "You gonna tell me what happened?" "Taylor's moving in with her biological father. Lauren expects me to keep paying for everything." Derek took a long drink and nodded slowly. "And you said?" "Nothing. I just left." He raised his beer. Sometimes that's the best answer. We drank in silence. And for the first time in 18 years, I felt like I could breathe. The call started on Monday morning. I was at Derek's place, working remotely, when my phone lit up with Lauren's name. I let go to voicemail. Then another call. Then another. By noon, she called 7 times. I finally listened to the first voicemail around 1 o'clock. Her voice was tight, controlled, the tone she used when she was trying not to sound panicked. "Blake, where are you? You didn't come home. Your office said you're working remotely this week. Call me back. We need to talk about this like adults." Adults. That was rich coming from someone who decided my entire role in her life without asking my opinion. The second message, left an hour later, had a different energy. "Blake, seriously, this isn't funny anymore. Taylor's asking where you are. Just call me." I deleted it and went back to work. Wednesday afternoon, everything changed. I was in the middle of a video conference when my phone started vibrating nonstop. Lauren's name flashed over and over. Then Taylor's number. Then Lauren again. When the conference ended, I had 12 missed calls and 3 voicemails. I played the last one. Lauren's voice came through the speaker, no longer controlled, no longer calm. She was screaming. "Blake, what did you do? The dean's office just called. They said Taylor's financial aid was revoked. Her whole package is gone. The tuition payment bounced, and now they're saying she might lose her housing. What did you do? I set the phone down carefully. Took a breath. Derek was standing in the doorway, eyebrows raised. That your wife? Ex-wife, technically. We just haven't made it official yet. The phone rang again. This time I answered. Put on speaker. Blake. Finally. Listen, there's been some kind of mistake with the university, and... There's no mistake, I said quietly. Silence on the other end. Then, what are you talking about? I removed my payment information from the system. I'm not Taylor's father. You made that clear. So I'm not her financial support anymore either. You can't be serious. Blake, she'll lose her spot. They're already talking about putting her on academic suspension until the bill is paid. That sounds like a problem for her father. Her real father. Craig, right? The one she's moving in with. Craig doesn't have that kind of money. You know that. Then I guess she should have thought about that before deciding I wasn't family. Lauren's voice shifted, went from panic to venom in half a second. You're being vindictive. This is cruel. No, Lauren. Cruel is raising someone for 18 years and being told you're replaceable. Cruel is being expected to fund a life I'm not welcome in. I'm just being practical. Blake, please. I hung up, blocked the number, then blocked Taylor's number for good measure. Derek whistled low. Ice cold, brother. No, I said, staring at the phone. Just done being warm for people who treat me like an ATM. Monday morning, I walked into the offices of Patterson & Klein, a law firm downtown that specialized in what their website tactfully called complex family transitions. Translation: they handled divorces where people fought dirty. The receptionist was younger than Taylor, wearing a headset and typing at speeds that made me think she'd been raised by computers. Mr. Mitchell? Mr. Patterson will see you now. Robert Patterson looked like he played golf with judges and had senators on speed dial. Silver hair, tailored suit, office with a view of the mountains. He shook my hand with the grip of someone who'd crushed better men than me in negotiations. So, he said, settling into his leather chair, your wife expects you to continue funding your stepdaughter's education after said stepdaughter chose to move in with her biological father. That's the short version. And you've already removed financial support? Everything. Tuition, health insurance, car lease payments. All of it. Patterson smiled. Not a warm smile. A predator smile. Good. You've established clear boundaries. Now let's make sure they stay established. You mentioned on the phone that the house is solely in your name. Refinanced 4 years ago. Lauren signed over ownership to improve the loan terms. Did she receive independent legal counsel before signing? I shook my head. I don't think so. I told her it was for tax purposes. Even better. Patterson opened a folder and slid a document across the desk. This is a petition for legal separation with intent to divorce. It protects your assets immediately and establishes that you have no financial obligation to her or her daughter. We'll also include a clause demanding reimbursement for expenses you covered during the marriage that exceeded your fair share. Can we do that? We can ask for anything. Whether we get it is another matter. But it puts her on defense immediately. He leaned forward. Mr. Mitchell, I need to know something. How far are you willing to take this? I thought about 18 years. About every soccer game, every school play, every midnight drive to the emergency room. About being called just Steve when Craig's name came up. About that dinner table conversation where I became a subscription service. As far as necessary. Patterson nodded. Then let's talk about the discovery process. I want financial records going back 5 years. Every purchase she made, every expense she claimed was for the household, that was really for her. We're going to build a case that you were financially exploited. Over the next hour, he walked me through the strategy. Freeze joint accounts. Document every text message and voicemail. File a restraining order if she showed up at Derek's place. Prepare for her to fight back hard. One more thing, Patterson said as I stood to leave. Your stepdaughter's biological father, this Craig Walsh. Do we know anything about him? Not much. He's in Phoenix. Hasn't paid child support consistently. Find out more. If he's got unpaid obligations or a criminal record, that information could be useful. Shows a pattern of irresponsibility. Makes your position stronger. I left the office with a folder full of documents to sign and a court date set for 3 weeks out. On the way to my truck, my phone buzzed. An email from Colorado State University, Student Accounts Department. Dear Mr. Mitchell, We received your request to remove authorization as a financial sponsor for Ms. Taylor Mitchell. This change has been processed. Please note that Ms. Chin's account now shows an outstanding balance of $14,230 for the current semester. Taylor's mom's maiden name was Chun. She kept it when she married me. Taylor used it too, even though I'd offered to let her take my name when she turned 18. I forwarded the email to Patterson with a one-line message, documentation of withdrawal of support. Then I drove back to Derek's place, cracked open a beer, and waited for the next explosion. It started with a text from my buddy Carlos, a guy I'd worked with for 5 years before he moved to Austin for a better position. "Bro, is this about you?" Attached was a screenshot of a Reddit post from some college drama forum. The title made my stomach drop. "Girl ditches stepdad for bio dad. Now she's broke and crying. Karma at its finest." I opened the link and started reading. The post was anonymous, but the details were too specific to be coincidence. So there's this girl in my school who's always been kind of entitled. Like, designer bags, new car every other year, study abroad trips, the whole package. She'd always talk about how her stepdad was fine, but not her real dad. How she was planning to reconnect with her biological father, who's apparently some big shot now. Well, guess what? She moved out to live with bio dad last month. Big Instagram post about finding her real family, and new beginnings with a picture of them holding keys to his house. Everyone was like, okay, good for you. Fast forward to last week. Her car got repossessed, right out of the student parking lot. Then her housing portal got locked because her tuition payment bounced. Then she found out her health insurance was canceled. Apparently stepdad was paying for everything, and when she left, he just stopped. Completely ghosted. Won't answer calls, won't respond to emails, just vanished. Now she's crying in the student center about how unfair it all is. Her mom's blowing up the financial aid office. Bio dad turns out to be broke as hell. Can't help with any of it. And stepdad, ice cold. Totally done. Comments are saying he's being cruel, but honestly, 18 years of raising someone, paying for everything, then getting dumped the second bio dad shows up, I'd probably do the same thing. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. The post had 3,000 upvotes and over 600 comments. I scrolled through them, watching strangers dissect my life like a true crime podcast. NTA. Stepdad is a legend. She FD around and found out. Imagine calling someone not your real dad while cashing his checks. The audacity. Bio dad probably rolled back in her life because he wanted something. Classic deadbeat move. A few comments defended Taylor, called me vindictive, said I was punishing a kid for wanting to know her biological father. Those got downvoted into oblivion. Someone had found Taylor's Instagram. Not hard, given the description in the post. They'd posted screenshots in the comments, including the one with her and Craig holding the key. New beginnings, the caption read, with a heart emoji. The comments on that screenshot were brutal. How's that working out for you? Hope the key opens a job application. Maybe Craig can pay your tuition with exposure. Derek walked in, saw me staring at my phone. What's wrong? You look like you've seen a ghost. My life just became a Reddit post. He read over my shoulder and whistled. Damn, that's wild. You think Taylor knows? If she doesn't now, she will soon. This thing's going viral. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. You're a coward, and everyone knows it. You ruined her life because your ego couldn't handle the truth. I blocked it. Another text came through from a different number. Hope you're proud of yourself. She's dropping out because of you. Then another. You're pathetic. I turned off my phone and tossed it on the couch. Derek looked at me, concerned. You okay? Yeah, I said, surprised to realize it was true. I'm fine. They can say whatever they want. I know what I did and why I did it. And if the internet wants to weigh in, let them. Derek raised his beer. To knowing when to walk away. I clinked my bottle against his. To knowing when you're done being used. The call came at 2 a.m, 3 weeks after the Reddit post went viral. I was at Derek's place, dead asleep, when my phone started buzzing on the nightstand. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Hello, Mr. Mitchell. A woman's voice, professional but tired. This is Denver General Hospital. We have Taylor Chun in our emergency room. You're listed as an emergency contact. I sat up, fully awake now. What happened? She came in with severe respiratory distress. Asthma attack. She's stable now, but we need to discuss her treatment and insurance information. My mind flashed back to Taylor at 14, her first major asthma attack during a camping trip. I'd driven 90 miles per hour to the nearest hospital while she used her inhaler every 5 minutes, her breathing shallow and panicked. I'd sat in that waiting room for 6 hours until the doctors said she was clear. What's her condition? I asked. Stable, but she needs a prescription for a stronger inhaler and a follow-up with a pulmonologist. The issue is her insurance was declined. The account shows she's no longer covered under your policy. That's correct. I removed her 6 weeks ago. Silence on the other end. I see. Well, without insurance, the emergency room visit alone is running about $4,000. The prescription and follow-up will be additional. And you're calling me because you're her emergency contact, and she doesn't have anyone else to call. Her mother's number went straight to voicemail. We tried reaching her biological father in Phoenix, but got no answer. I closed my eyes, thinking, for $1,000, plus medications, plus follow-up appointments, all because she'd decided Craig was her real father. Mr. Mitchell, are you still there? I'm here. What happens if the bill doesn't get paid? The hospital will work out a payment plan with her directly. We can also refer her to financial assistance programs and community health clinics for ongoing care. Then do that. She's 22 years old. She's responsible for her own medical bills. Another pause. Sir, she's asking to speak with you. Tell her I'm unavailable. Mr. Mitchell, she's very upset and I'm not her father. She made that clear. Forward her to financial assistance and have a good night. I hung up before the nurse could respond. My hands were shaking, not from anger, but from the sheer effort it took to say no. Every instinct I had screamed at me to drive to that hospital, to pay the bill, to sit with her until she was released. But that instinct was trained into me over 18 years of being dad. It wasn't real. It was just a habit I needed to break. Derek appeared in the doorway, groggy. Who was that? Hospital. Taylor had an asthma attack. Is she okay? She's stable. They wanted me to pay for it. Derek nodded slowly. What did you tell them? I told them she's an adult, and it's not my responsibility. Derek studied my face. You good? I thought about that question. Was I good? No. I felt like a man who just refused to save someone drowning. But I also knew that if I jumped in now, I'd be drowning too, pulled down by people who only needed me when it was convenient. Yeah, I said finally. I'm good. But I didn't sleep the rest of the night. A week after the hospital incident, I got a call from someone I hadn't heard from in 5 years. Sarah Winters, my former colleague from my previous job at a tech startup in Boulder. We'd worked together for 3 years, built the company's entire IT infrastructure from scratch, then parted ways when the startup got acquired. Blake Mitchell, she said when I answered. I heard through the grapevine that you're single now. I laughed despite myself. News travels fast. Small industry. Look, I'm calling because I've got a proposition for you. I started my own cybersecurity consulting firm 2 years ago. We're growing fast, taking on corporate clients, and I need someone who knows systems architecture inside and out. You interested? I'm still employed. For now. But unless I'm reading the situation wrong, you're probably planning an exit from Denver pretty soon. She wasn't wrong. Working remotely from Derek's place was getting old, and I knew eventually I'd have to face either going back to the office or relocating entirely. What kind of position? I asked. Partner. 40% equity. Equal say in business decisions. Salary of 140 plus profit sharing. We're based in Seattle, but most of our work is remote anyway. You could work from anywhere. I sat up straighter. 40% equity. You're worth it. I've seen your work. Plus, I need someone I trust who won't screw me over. That's worth more than money. When would you need an answer? Soon as possible. I've got 3 other candidates, but you're my first choice. We talked for another 30 minutes about the company, the clients, the vision. By the time I hung up, I realized Sarah had just offered me an escape route that didn't involve running away. It involved running towards something better. I called Patterson, my lawyer, that afternoon. How fast can we finalize this divorce? Depends on how much she fights. If she contests the property division, could be 6 months. If she signs everything, 30 days. Make her an offer she can't refuse. I'll give her $20,000 cash as a settlement. She walks away. No fight, no claims on the house or anything else. That's generous considering she has no legal standing to claim anything. It's not generosity. It's speed. I want this done fast. Patterson said he'd draw up the papers. I hung up and started packing my things for real this time. Not just for a few weeks, but for good. That evening, my phone buzzed with an email notification. It was from Taylor. Subject line, "Please read." I almost deleted it. Almost. But something made me open it. "Blake, I know you don't want to hear from me. I know I messed up. The hospital bill went to collections, and I can't afford it. I tried reaching Craig, but he's not answering. He hasn't answered in 2 weeks. I think he blocked me. I don't know what I did wrong, but he just disappeared. Mom won't help because she's broke too. She had to move in with Aunt Monica because you took the house. I'm probably going to have to drop out of school. I can't afford anything anymore. I just wanted you to know that I'm sorry. I'm sorry I didn't appreciate you. I'm sorry I called Craig my real dad. I'm sorry for everything. I don't expect you to forgive me or help me. I just wanted you to know." I read it twice. Then I closed the laptop and walked outside into the Colorado evening, where the mountains loomed dark against a purple sky, and I felt absolutely nothing. Moving to Seattle was like stepping into a different version of my life, one where I wasn't defined by what I'd lost, but by what I was building. Sarah's company operated out of a sleek office near Pike Place Market, all glass walls and standing desks. My first week, I closed 2 major contracts with tech firms looking to upgrade their security infrastructure. The money was good, the work was challenging, and for the first time in years, I felt like I was moving forward instead of treading water. But the real came on a Saturday morning 3 weeks after I'd arrived. I was at a coffee shop near my new apartment, working through some client proposals, when my phone rang. Unknown number with a 208 area code. Idaho. "Hello. Is this Blake Mitchell?" A man's voice, young, uncertain. Speaking. "This is Cameron. Cameron Mitchell. Your son." I nearly dropped my phone. Cameron. 25 years old now. I hadn't seen him since he was 8, when his mother Jennifer moved them to Boise after our divorce, and slowly cut me out of his life. I'd paid child support religiously for 10 years, sent birthday cards that went unanswered, made phone calls that were never returned. Eventually, I stopped trying. It hurt too much to keep reaching for someone who didn't reach back. "Cameron," I said, my voice rough. "How did you find me?" "The 529 fund transfer. I got a notification last week that I was now the beneficiary of an education account worth $21,000. I didn't understand why, so I called a financial institution, and they gave me your contact info." "Dad, what's going on?" So I told him everything. About Lauren, about Taylor, about the 18 years I'd spent being a father to someone who decided I wasn't her real dad. About the dinner conversation that ended everything, the silent exit, the financial cutoff, and the decision to transfer Taylor's college fund to him instead. Cameron listened without interrupting. When I finished, there was a long silence. "So you gave me the money meant for your stepdaughter," he said finally. "You're my son. My actual son. If anyone deserves it, it's you. I don't need college money, Dad. I'm doing fine. I run my own construction crew now, making good money." But he paused, and I could hear something in his voice I hadn't expected. Emotion. "I'd like to see you. If that's okay. I'd like to know my father. For real this time." We met 2 weeks later at a restaurant in Coeur d'Alene, halfway between Seattle and Boise. I got there early, sat in my truck in the parking lot with my hands shaking like a teenager on a first date. This was my son, my flesh and blood, and I'd missed 17 years of his life. Cameron walked in looking like a younger, rougher version of me. Same build, same jawline, same way of moving, like he was always ready for the next challenge. He spotted me immediately and walked over with a confidence I envied. "You look good," he said, shaking my hand. His grip was strong, calloused from years of construction work. "You too. I'm sorry I wasn't around more when you were growing up. Mom didn't make it easy. I understand that now. I'm not a kid anymore, and I've seen enough of the world to know that relationships are complicated." He sat down and looked me straight in the eye. "But I want to know you now. Not just Christmas cards and phone calls. I want a real relationship with my father." We talked for 4 hours. About his construction business, about my new partnership with Sarah, about his girlfriend Maya, who was 6 months pregnant with their first child. My first grandchild. A little girl they were planning to name Emma. "You've got a chance to be a grandfather," Cameron said, as we finished dessert. "If you want it. I know I can't give you back the years we lost, but we can start from here." "I want it," I said, and my voice came out rougher than I intended. "I want all of it." Cameron smiled, and it was like looking at myself 20 years ago. "Good, because Emma's going to need a grandpa who shows up." I drove back to Seattle that night, feeling lighter than I had in months. Maybe years. For the first time since that dinner table conversation with Lauren, I felt like I had a family again. A real one. Not one built on obligation and checks and being useful, but one built on blood and choice and second chances. 8 months after moving to Seattle, I was standing in the TSA pre-check line at SeaTac Airport, heading to a cybersecurity conference in San Francisco. Life had gotten good. Really good. My partnership with Sarah had exceeded every expectation we'd set. We'd tripled our client base, hired 12 new employees, and I'd just received my first profit-sharing check for $83,000. Cameron and I talked every week now, and I'd flown to Boise twice to visit him and Maya and baby Emma, who had her grandfather's eyes and her father's smile. I was checking my boarding pass on my phone when I saw her. Taylor. She was maybe 20 yards away at a coffee kiosk near the security checkpoint, and, at first, I wasn't sure it was really her. She looked different. Thinner. Older. Her hair was pulled back in a messy ponytail, and she wore pale blue scrubs like the kind medical assistants or nursing students wear. She was standing at the register, counting out coins from her pocket to pay for a small coffee. Quarters, dimes, nickels, counting them twice to make sure she had enough. The barista looked impatient. There was a line forming behind her. Our eyes met across the terminal. Recognition flashed across her face immediately, followed by something else. Shame, maybe, or regret. Her mouth opened slightly, like she was going to call out to me, or wave, or do something to bridge the 20 yards and 8 months between us. I looked away, picked up my carry-on bag, moved forward in the security line, didn't look back. Behind me, I heard nothing. No footsteps running to catch me. No voice calling my name. Just the ambient noise of the airport. Thousands of people moving through their lives, most of them strangers to each other. I went through security, put my laptop and shoes back on, and walked to my gate without a single glance over my shoulder. By the time I sat down in the waiting area, my phone buzzed with a text from Cameron. Maya went into labor this morning. Baby's coming early. Can you get here? I pulled up the airline app and rebooked my flight. San Francisco could wait. My granddaughter couldn't. 20 minutes later, I was boarding a different plane, heading to Boise instead. As the plane pushed back from a gate, I looked out the window at the Terminal 1 last time. Somewhere in that building, Taylor was probably still counting change for coffee, wondering what her life had become, wondering how she'd gone from college student with a bright future to medical assistant struggling to afford basic necessities. But that wasn't my problem anymore. My problem was getting to Boise in time to meet Emma, to be there for Cameron, to be the grandfather and father I'd never gotten a chance to be before. Some bridges you burn intentionally. Others you just stop maintaining until they collapse under their own weight. Either way, I was done looking back. I had a family waiting for me. A real one this time. The plane lifted off, and Seattle disappeared beneath the clouds.